From Poverty to Power, Redefining Success and Leadership in the 21st Century. Welcome to a journey that will challenge everything you thought you knew about success, leadership, and the power of embracing your authentic self. Today, we're diving deep into the extraordinary life and insights of Lashona Caraway Swan, a visionary leader who's not just breaking barriers, but reshaping the very landscape of business and entrepreneurship. Lashona's story isn't just inspiring, it's revolutionary. It's a testament to the untapped potential that exists within each of us, regardless of where we come from. Her journey from the streets of an urban neighborhood to the boardrooms of corporate America is more than a personal triumph. It's a beacon of hope and a call to action for anyone who's ever felt marginalized, overlooked, or counted out. As I sat down with Lashona for an intimate conversation, I was struck by her presence. Her voice, soft yet commanding, reminds me of the gentle strength of Ciara with a touch of Lisa Ray's assertiveness. It's a unique blend that captures your attention and holds it, making you lean in to catch every word. But it's not just her voice that commands attention, it's the power of her message, the depth of her insights, and the transformative impact of her leadership. Lashona Caraway Swan isn't just a successful CEO. She's a catalyst for change, a mentor to the next generation of leaders, and a living example of what's possible when we dare to dream beyond the boundaries set by our circumstances. Her work isn't just about building a successful business, it's about reimagining what leadership looks like in the 21st century and creating pathways for others to follow. Let's start with the truth that Lashona embodies. Where you come from doesn't determine where you can go, it levels the fight. Imagine growing up in a neighborhood where the sirens of police cars are more common than the sound of opportunity knocking, where dreams of business ownership seem as distant as the stars in the night sky. This was Lashona's reality. But instead of letting her circumstances define her, she used them as fuel, as motivation to push harder, reach further, and dream bigger than anyone thought possible. Lashona shared a story with me that perfectly illustrates this point. She told me about a pivotal moment in her childhood when she was told by a teacher that kids from her neighborhood don't become CEOs. They don't lead companies. They don't change the world. Can you imagine the weight of those words on a young mind? The crushing blow of having your dreams dismissed before they've even had a chance to take flight. But here's where Lashona's story takes a turn that should inspire us all. And instead of internalizing that message, instead of letting it dim her light, she used it as kindling for a fire that would burn bright enough to light the way, not just for herself, but for countless others. She told me, it's just, that moment could have defined me, could have been the end of my story. But instead, it was just the beginning. I decided right then and there that I wasn't just going to prove that teacher wrong. I was going to prove that every child from every neighborhood has the potential to lead, to innovate, to change the world. And that's exactly what she did. Lashona's journey to becoming a CEO wasn't a straight path. It was filled with twists, turns, and obstacles that would have deterred many. But here's what sets her apart. She approached each challenge with a mindset of growth and learning. She understood that every setback was an opportunity to gain knowledge, to become stronger, to become better equipped for the next hurdle. This brings me to one of the most powerful lessons I learned from Lashona. Being vulnerable doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're pure and open to opinion. In a world that often equates vulnerability with weakness, especially for women in leadership positions, Lashona's perspective is revolutionary. She shared with me how being open about her struggles, her fears, and even her failures has been a cornerstone of her success. Imagine for a moment what it feels like to stand in front of a room full of investors, your heart pounding, your palms sweaty, knowing that your background doesn't match theirs. Lashona has been there. But instead of hiding her background or trying to fit into a mold that wasn't made for her, she chose authenticity. She chose to be vulnerable. She told me about a pivotal moment when she was pitching her business idea. Instead of glossing over her humble beginnings, she leaned into them. She spoke about growing up in a neighborhood where entrepreneurship wasn't celebrated, where the idea of becoming a CEO seemed as distant as the stars. And you know what? That vulnerability, that raw honesty, resonated more deeply with her audience than any polished presentation ever could. One investor later told her, I've sat through hundreds of pitches, but yours was the first that made me feel something. You didn't just present a business plan, you shared a vision for change that I could feel in my bones. Lashona's approach challenges us to rethink how we view our own stories. How often do we try to hide the parts of ourselves that we think don't fit the image of success? How many times have we dimmed our light thinking it's too bright for the room we're in? Lashona's message is clear. Your story in its entirety is your strength. It's what makes you unique, what gives you perspective, and ultimately what will set you apart in the business world. But let's be clear, vulnerability isn't about oversharing or wearing your heart on your sleeve in every business meeting. It's about being authentic, about bringing your whole self to the table. It's about acknowledging your journey, your struggles, and your triumphs. It's about creating spaces where others feel safe to do the same. Lashona's approach to vulnerability and leadership has had a ripple effect. She shared with me how being open about her own journey has encouraged others in her company to do the same. This culture of openness has led to more innovative ideas, stronger team bonds, and a work environment where people feel valued not just for their skills, but for who they are as individuals. One of her employees, a young woman from a background similar to Lashona's, shared a story that brought tears to my eyes. She said, before working with Lashona, I always felt like I had to leave part of myself at the door when I came to work. I thought my background, my struggles, were something to be ashamed of. But Lashona showed me that my experiences are valuable. They give me insights that others don't have. Now, I bring my whole self to work every day, and I've never been more creative or productive. This is the power of vulnerable leadership. It doesn't just change individuals, it transforms entire organizations. It creates spaces where innovation can flourish, where diverse perspectives are not just tolerated, but celebrated, and where people feel empowered to bring their best, most authentic selves to work every day. Now, let's talk about another powerful lesson from Lashona. Just because you came from humble beginnings doesn't count you out, it levels the fight. This perspective is game changing. Too often we see our backgrounds as disadvantages, especially when they don't align with traditional notions of success. But Lashona sees it differently. She views her background as a unique advantage, a perspective that allows her to see opportunities others might miss. Lashona shared a story about a business decision she made that her board initially disagreed with. She wanted to launch a product line specifically targeting communities similar to the one she grew up in. Her board, comprised mostly of individuals from more privileged backgrounds, couldn't see the potential, but Lashona stood her ground. She knew from her own experience that there was an untapped market, a community hungry for products that spoke to their needs and experiences. She told me, I sat in that boardroom surrounded by people who had never missed a meal, who had never worried about whether the lights would be on when they got home. And I realized that my experience, my background was my superpower. I could see an opportunity they couldn't even imagine. The result? That product line became one of the company's most successful ventures, not just in terms of profit, but in terms of community impact. It created jobs in areas that desperately needed them, and it showed young people in those communities that their experiences and needs mattered in the business world. This story illustrates a crucial point. Your background, whatever it may be, gives you insights that are invaluable. It allows you to see gaps in the market, to understand needs that others might overlook. In a world where unique perspectives drive innovation, your background isn't a liability, it's an asset. But Lashona's impact doesn't stop at her own success. She's committed to lifting others as she climbs. She told me about her initiatives to help other women from urban areas start successful businesses. This isn't just about charity or giving back, it's about recognizing untapped potential and creating pathways for it to flourish. Lashona's mentorship program is a testament to this commitment. She doesn't just offer financial support or business advice, she provides something far more valuable: belief. She shows these women through her own example and through dedicated mentorship that their dreams are valid, that their ideas have merit, and that their backgrounds are strengths, not weaknesses. One of the women in Lashona's mentorship program shared a story that stuck with me. She said that before meeting Lashona, she had always felt like an imposter in business settings. She would change the way she spoke, the way she dressed, trying to fit into what she thought a businesswoman should be. But Lashona encouraged her to embrace her authentic self, to let her unique voice shine through. This woman went on to start a successful business that celebrates and uplifts her community. She's not just making a profit, she's changing narratives and creating opportunities. And it all started with the courage to be authentically herself, a courage inspired by Lashona's example. This brings us to another crucial lesson. Always do your best and be honest. In a world where shortcuts and quick fixes are often glorified, Lashona's commitment to integrity stands out. She shared with me that there were many times in her journey when taking the easy route would have been tempting, times when a little dishonesty could have smoothed the path or secured a deal. But Lashona understood something fundamental. Success built on dishonesty is like a house built on sand. It might stand for a while, but eventually it will crumble. Instead, she chose the harder path of always doing her best and being honest, even when it meant facing difficult truths or admitting mistakes. This commitment to integrity hasn't just helped Lashona sleep better at night, it's been a cornerstone of her business success. In an era where consumers are increasingly valuing authenticity and transparency from the brands they support, Lashona's approach has built deep trust with her customers and partners. She told me about a time when her company faced a significant setback. A product line had issues that weren't caught before launch. Many advisors suggested downplaying the problem, but Lashona chose a different path. She decided to be fully transparent about the issue, to recall the product, and to personally address the concerns of affected customers. This decision was costly in the short term, both financially and in terms of public perception. But the long-term result, customer loyalty, skyrocketed. People appreciated the honesty, the willingness to take responsibility, and the commitment to making things right. This incident, which could have been a major blow to the company, ended up showcasing its integrity and strengthening its brand. One customer wrote to Lashona saying, "I've never seen a company handle a problem with such honesty and grace. You've earned a customer for life. Not just because your products are good, but because I know I can trust you." Lashona's story challenges us to think about how we define success. Is it just about the bottom line? Or is it about building something sustainable? Something that positively impacts not just our own lives, but the lives of others. Her approach suggests that true success comes when we align our business goals with our values, when we refuse to compromise our integrity for short-term gains. As I reflect on my conversation with Lashona, I'm struck by how her journey embodies a new kind of leadership. It's leadership that doesn't shy away from vulnerability, that sees diversity of experience as a strength, and that is committed to lifting others up. It's leadership that recognizes that the most powerful thing we can do is to be authentically ourselves. Lashona's story is more than just an inspirational tale of one woman's success. It's a call to action for all of us. It challenges us to rethink our own stories, to see the value in our unique experiences, and to have the courage to bring our whole selves to whatever we do. So, what does this mean for you? How can you apply these lessons in your own life, whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a seasoned business leader, or someone just starting to dream about what's possible? First, embrace your story, all of it. The struggles, the triumphs, the parts you're proud of, and the parts you've tried to hide. Your experiences, whatever they may be, have shaped you and given you a unique perspective. That perspective is valuable. It's what will set you apart and allow you to see opportunities others might miss. Second, be vulnerable. Have the courage to be authentic, to share your journey, your doubts, and your aspirations. This doesn't mean oversharing or ignoring professional boundaries. It means being real, being human. It means creating spaces where others feel safe to do the same. Remember, vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the birthplace of innovation, connection, and true leadership. Third, commit to integrity. Do your best always. Be honest, even when it's hard. Build your success on a foundation of trust and authenticity. It might not always be the easiest path, but it's the one that leads to lasting success and fulfillment. Fourth, lift as you climb. Success isn't just about personal achievement, it's about creating opportunities for others. Look for ways to mentor, to share your knowledge, to create pathways for those who might not see a way forward. Your success can be a beacon of hope and a source of empowerment for others. Lastly, remember that where you come from doesn't determine where you can go. Your background, whatever it may be, is not a limitation, it's a unique advantage. Use it. Let it fuel your determination, inform your decisions, and give you the courage to dream big. As we come to the end of this talk, I want to leave you with a final thought. Lashona Caraway Swan's journey from poverty to CEO is extraordinary. But what's truly remarkable is how she's using her success to change narratives and create opportunities for others. Her story reminds us that success isn't just about personal achievement, it's about the impact we have on the world around us. So, I challenge you. How will you use your unique story? How will you embrace vulnerability in your life and work? How will you lift others as you climb? The answers to these questions have the power to not only transform your own life, but to create ripples of change that extend far beyond you. They have the power to reshape industries, to redefine leadership, and to create a world where success is measured not just in profit, but in positive impact. Imagine a world where boardrooms are filled with voices from all walks of life, where innovation is driven by diverse perspectives, where leadership is defined by authenticity and integrity. This isn't just a dream. It's a possibility that each of us has the power to make a reality. You have within you the power to redefine what's possible. Your voice matters, your experiences matter, your dreams matter. And when you have the courage to bring your whole authentic self to whatever you do, you open up a world of possibilities, not just for yourself, but for all those who will be inspired by your example. So, as you leave here today, I urge you to take a moment, reflect on your own story, embrace the parts of yourself that you've been hiding. Consider how your unique experiences have shaped your perspective and how that perspective could change your industry, your community, or even the world. And then I want you to make a commitment to yourself, to your dreams, and to the positive impact you can have on the world. Commit to being authentically you, to embracing vulnerability as a strength, to leading with integrity, and to lifting others as you climb. Because when we all do this, when we all embrace our authentic selves and use our unique perspectives to drive change, we don't just change our own lives. We change industries. We change communities. We change the world. The power is in your hands. The time is now. Let's go out there and redefine what's possible, one authentic step at a time. Together, we can create a future where success is inclusive, where leadership is diverse, and where every voice has the power to make a difference. Thank you